everyone. Welcome back to Jim Snedeker Music. This week, we want to take a look at 5 mixer tips for the best open mic. Best practices when you are called upon to MC an open mic. 5 mixer tips. We're just going to have a quick rundown of best practices. This will be the best for the MC. The audience will appreciate being able to hear everyone, and the performers will also appreciate an MC who gets them, who understands how to make them sound good. Okay, to get started, here are the 5 things we want to cover. These are your 5 mixer tips for the best open mic night. Number 1, you want to show up early. You want to serve your hosts first. It's a way to stay on the calendar. You want to use phantom-powered microphones, and I'll tell you why. Also, favor the vocals. Keep them out front. Mix the equalization for each performer. We're going to cover each of these at a high level with resources to know more if you are interested. Firstly, we want to arrive early. This eliminates feeling rushed. If you feel rushed, you can make mistakes and those little mistakes can ruin what would have otherwise been a great mix. So planning the time to make those adjustments and eliminate any unwanted sounds is worth the time. Check out the room. What does it sound like? What are the acoustics like? That's why you want to arrive early. Next, you want to serve your hosts first. You want to remember who asked you to do this. What are they interested in? Is the open mic background for their customers? Or is it more of a listening room where the customers are really going to listen to the open mic? That's something you should establish with your hosts. It's easy to overlook that because you get involved in the technical aspects. But remember that primarily pleasing your hosts keeps the open mic going. It keeps you on the calendar. It creates opportunities for new performers. Plus, it also meets your host's business goals. So don't forget to ask them, how do you think it sounds, Mr. or Miss Host? Do you think it's too loud? Do we need more bass? How do you feel about the vocals? Is the guitar too loud? Handle those with your host. Then, the next thing you want to do is use phantom-powered mics. Now, you may not have phantom-powered mics, and if you don't, this is not an advertisement to go out and buy them, but here's why I suggest them. They're good for performers who don't sing loud enough. We've all probably worked with people who are new to performing. They've spent a lot of time practicing the song on their instrument, but they've kind of left the singing for later. And how that shows up at the open mic is you can't really hear them. Well, a condenser mic is a great thing. A condenser phantom-powered mic can help toward that end, especially when people say to you, I can't hear the vocals. A lot of times it's because the singer's not singing loud enough. And one way to help that, won't fix everything, but is to use a condenser phantom-powered mic. All right. Number 4, we want to favor the vocals. In any mix, make sure the vocals are predominant. If you don't, you've probably missed the point of the whole song. Performers do tend to practice their instruments first and leave the vocals for later, like I mentioned earlier, but the vocal should have a focus. Songs tell stories. They do that with lyrics. So remember, keep your instruments second and your vocals first. Number 5, you want to mix the equalization for each performer, and that's because everyone's unique. They have their own individual sound. This is your main job, to listen. What sounds good? What's missing? What do you need to adjust? Is there too much bass? Does it sound, are we right on the edge of that feedback? These are all things that you need to listen to carefully as your performer begins that first song. Or even better yet, give them a few minutes to do a sound check. Can you hear the consonants when they sing? If not, well, maybe you need to bump the treble up just a little bit. So that was a really quick summary, but it was 5 best practices of how to get your very best mix. 5 best practices, 5 tips of how to get your best mix in an open mic. But if you're interested in more, I would encourage you to check out this article on my website. And here's a book at Amazon that's a great little guide, quite readable, and at the proper depth of information, something practical to get you going, to help you to know more. As always, I want to thank you for joining Jim Snedeker Music today as we've covered these 5 tips to help you at open mic. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope you'll leave me a thumbs up, a comment, perhaps even subscribe. Thanks so much for participating today, and I'll see you next time.